Every Thursday, one Michigan man arrives at Starbucks to order dozens of drinks for his sick dad. However, all is not as it seems. When one barista found out that his father was already dead, she realized that the reason for his visits was truly inspiring.
Hello, story lovers. I'm Stephanie Nadolny, and here is...
Each week, a guy took a dozen coffees for his sick dad. Then the barista learned he was already dead.
Before we move on, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and activate the notifications bell for new amazing videos.
Dan Dewey was a familiar face at the Starbucks at Woodward and Square Lake in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Each week, Dewey was there without fail. In fact, he was probably one of the store's best customers. Each Thursday morning, the baristas would await Dewey's arrival, and he would usually arrive at 10:30 a.m., practically on the dot. Then he would proceed to reel off orders in his usual manner. However, Dewey's order was never straightforward. He would buy between 12 and 24 drinks of every kind and variety, and he's been doing the same thing for years, barely skipping a week. This ritual went on for quite some time. Then one barista plucked up the courage to ask Dewey exactly what he did with all his coffee, and his response deeply moved the barista. They handed him $20 and told him to keep up the good work. When his order was ready, Dewey would carry his drinks in a huge tower to his car. Then he'd transport them to the people who would ultimately drink them, and to do so, he'd have to head down to the local hospital. Dewey is a retired audio-visual specialist. That meant that when his father, Edgar, was undergoing cancer treatments in 2006, he was able to take him to his chemo appointments. Every Thursday, the pair would head to the Michigan Cancer Institute at St. Joseph Mercy Hospital in Pontiac, Michigan. Dewey's dad had already had chemotherapy treatments once before, and amazingly, the hospital gave him the same slot he had had previously. We were given Thursdays at 10 a.m., same time as 5 years earlier, Dewey revealed to the Detroit News. The same staff, same favorite nurse, her name is Kelly, were there, he added. And they were so goofy and fun and positive. I grabbed my dad's wallet and said, "I'm going for coffee. Anybody want anything?" Well, the laughter began, and that's when it all started. Seeing the positive effect that his simple gesture had on everyone at the hospital, Dewey decided to continue with his coffee runs. Every Thursday for 8 weeks, he took orders at the hospital and picked them up at Starbucks. But before he knew it, his dad had completed his course of chemo. However, now that his dad was home, something was missing from Dewey's life. With some encouragement from his father, he decided to continue his coffee runs, and that's how he became a regular at Starbucks. However, Dewey's gesture wasn't completely altruistic. In fact, he got a buzz out of making staff and patients happy. "I just love getting them to smile," he admitted. "I can honestly say the prettiest women I've ever seen in my life have all been bald." Nevertheless, everyone at the hospital appreciated Dewey's kindness. Often, they met his arrival at the Cancer Institute with a round of applause. "He just brightens everyone's day when he comes in," Nurse Lisa Corrado told Fox 2 News. Patient Brian Burke agreed. "You know, sitting in chairs and getting poked all the time is probably less than desirable," he told Fox 2 News. "So any little intervention makes a big difference, especially if it's coffee from a stranger." After a few years of doing his hospital visits, Dewey's father's health had deteriorated, but before he died, he had one last wish for his generous son. "Keep doing the coffee run," he urged. So Dewey decided to continue in his father's honor. So Dewey, in his famous shorts, soon became a regular face on the chemo ward. However, his generosity hasn't come cheap. In fact, in 2015, he estimated that he'd spent more than $10,000 of his own cash on coffee. Thanks to some media exposure a few years ago, Dewey received a flood of donations. However, by 2015, the cash flow had dried up, and this left Dewey's finances in dire straits. As a result, Dewey planned to sell his family farm and set up a nonprofit. "I've been trying for nearly a year, but it hasn't happened yet," he told the Detroit News at the time. The situation was causing him a great deal of stress and giving him sleepless nights. However, that's when Dewey's friends came to his rescue. They helped him establish Dan's Coffee Run. The Facebook page accepts donations from across the world for Dewey to pay forward in the form of coffee. As a result, Dewey can continue delivering coffee and joy to the patients at St. Joseph's and beyond. and the determined retiree has said that he has no plans of stopping anytime soon. "I'll do it with my last breath and my last dollar," he told Starbucks.
Did you like the story? Check out our channel for more.